Hi David, it's Andy. I've got a application called Camtasia that allows me to record my screen and record my voice. So I thought I would give that a go and produce a little video to show you how to export in Aperture, the versions rather than the original masters. So I've got Aperture open here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a collection of 5 or 6 photographs that I'm then going to export to 300 dpi. So I'm just going to show you how I would do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is create the pictures, and the easiest way for me to do that is to star them so that they appear in this library albums on the left here. I've already got 3, so I'm just going to choose a couple more. So if I come over to my albums on the left and I choose, let's say, this girl here with her saxophone, and if I right click on it and then I choose rating and I do 5 star, and then let's choose, let's say one of these pictures of Amanda Holden here. So if I find her sitting in a chair, which is there, and then I right click and then I rate it as 5 star. So I'm basically creating a collection, and now my collection of 5 star pictures, if I click it on the left, is here. So I'm going to edit these 2 pictures so that they look different than the master. So this one I'm just going to crop it. So I can click on the crop tool, and I'm going to drag out an area that crops just down to her sitting on the chair. I press enter to do that crop, and then I come to my adjustments, and I'm just simply going to choose a preset, and I'm going to do black and white, and I'm going to do red filter. So there we are. I'm then going to come across to the lady with the saxophone, and for her I'm just going to go back to my adjustments and my preset, black and white filter. Just as an example, I'll go green, which is quite dark, and then I'll just up the exposure a bit. There we are. Okay, so now I've got my 5 pictures there. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to export them as a version, a 300D. So the first thing I do is I come down to the film strip at the bottom and I click on my first picture. I hold down my shift key and I click on my last picture, so that they're all selected and they all appear up here in the overview. If I then come down to my film strip version and I right click on one of the pictures, it doesn't actually matter which, and from the menu that appears you will see there is this export menu in the middle here. You can export a number of ways. I'm going to export versions. What versions is basically the editing that you've done. Masters would be the original. So I'm going to go to versions, and that's going to open up a standard save dialog window. The top half, as you'll probably know, is you focus on where you're going to save it. The bottom half is you focus on how you're going to save it. So let's deal with where first. Now if you're using MobileMe, you would click on the iDisk and that would open up your MobileMe account. For the moment, because I don't have it, I'm just going to click on desktop, and then I'm going to click on new folder, which is at the bottom here, and I'm going to call this folder, I'll call it your name, so I'll call it David, like that, and then just click create. So that's where it's going to put it. I then focus on how I want to export it. The first option on the list here is export presets, and the one that's selected at the moment is JPEG 200 dpi, which is close, but it's not what I want. So I'm going to click on this box, end of the box here, and it's a drop down list, and in there are all sorts of drop downs that I could use. What I'm going to do, because none of those are the ones I want, I'm going to come to edit at the bottom here and this opens up an image export window with lots of presets on the left. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a copy of JPEG 200 dpi and I'm going to change it to be 300 dpi and then change its name so it says JPEG 300 dpi, and then I'm going to save it. So to do that, click on 200 JPEG 200 dpi first, then come across to the right and simply change the DPI here to be 300. I'm not too concerned about the gamma adjust or the color profile or the watermark. What I want to do is save this preset. So I come back over to the left, and at the bottom you'll see there's a plus. If I click on the plus, that actually just duplicates that preset I just changed. But now it's called JPEG 200 dpi copy, whereas obviously over on the right you can see it's 300. So If I change this name now to be 300, and oops, not E, 300, and I get rid of copy, that's just copied and changed the name of this preset to be JPEG 300 dpi. If I now click OK, that is what's going to appear here, JPEG 300 dpi. If you want to check that, click in the drop down box, go to Edit, and there it is, 300, 200. Once you've done that once you've created that preset, you only need to select it from the drop down box. So if I then click on OK, so here it is, export preset 300 dpi, that's fine. Subfolder format, I'm not going to worry about. Name format, as you'll probably know, this is just how you can name the files that you're creating. I'm going to go for X, which means whatever name I've typed in here, I've been here before, so you'll see I've typed David. So the first picture will be called David 1, the second one David 2, the third one David 3, and so on. And it shows you here file name example David 1. So basically, if you've got a project name, type that in there. Make sure this box, show alert when finished, is ticked. It may be we come in here for the first time, it's not. So just put a tick in there, because what that means is that Aperture will tell you when it's finished. So then I just do export versions. Aperture will think about it for a little while, and then depending on how many pictures you've got in this collection, it'll pop a window that says I've finished, and then it says, do you want to see the pictures? So here it is, export version complete. And what I'm going to click on is Reveal in Finder. When I do that, it opens the Finder, and there it is on my desktop under the folder called David, and here are the 5 pictures. If I click on the last picture, you will see it's the lady with the saxophone, and you will see it's 5.3 megabytes and it's black and white. So these are my copies at 300 dpi, ready for printing and ready for you to send off to wherever your printer might be. Hopefully that should have made things a little bit clearer for you. But please do give me a ring later on today if when you get home you try it and it just doesn't work. But in the meantime, I hope that helps. Thanks then.